Today, we're discussing the recently released update news for 7 Days to Die Alpha 21. Now, we've got a lot of info to cover and no time to waste, so let's get to it. Recently, the Fun Pimps made a major announcement regarding Alpha 21. In the news and announcements section of the 7 Days to Die forum, you will find the dev diary for Alpha 21. This forum thread gives us our first glimpse at some of the updates we have to look forward to. So today we're going to take a look at the announced updates and discuss what we have coming in Alpha 21. We're going to start off with some of the basic updates and leave the major update for last. So first up on the list of confirmed Alpha 21 features is new places of interest. One thing you can definitely say about Alpha 20 is that it did introduce a whole bunch of new POIs, and it looks like Alpha 21 is going to continue this trend. Next up, we have updated and new decorative vehicle models. New vehicle models being added to the game is pretty cool. Instead of coming across the exact same vehicle over and over again, just with different colors, we will now have a whole bunch of vehicle models in the world. Again, this seems to be continuing the trend from Alpha 20, which introduced a lot of new truck models, like the working stiff truck model, the ambulance, and the like. Next up, we have additional advanced world generation options, specifically the biome percent sliders. Now, this is a really cool change. A slider would indicate that you can actually set the percentage of each biome that will spawn into your world. So if you want to have a 100% wasteland biome, now you can do that with the percentage sliders. Or if you want to have like a 50% forest and 50% desert, hopefully this new slider will give you that option. It'll be interesting to play around with this feature once Alpha 21 is released. Next up, we have the interactive environmental hazards. Flaming broken gas pipes blocking the way. A valve to turn off the gas flow is located elsewhere. Now, the Fun Pimps have released a video kind of demonstrating this new interactive environmental hazards feature, and it looks pretty cool. You see there's a gas pipe here with a giant flame being shot out of it. Player has to go upstairs and turn the little valve in order to stop the gas flow, removing that environmental hazard. That could be a very, very cool addition to 7 Days to Die. And the last basic update on the list here is doors. We are finally getting double doors. That is going to be another really cool addition. Having the ability to craft double doors will increase your building options. Now let's move on to the major change coming in Alpha 21. I am talking about the learn by looting system. Now we're going to start off with exactly what this is, and then we'll discuss what it means a little bit later on in the video. So let's go through the dev diary notes and see what they have to say about the new learn by looting system. There are 23 new skills to govern crafting, with 23 new magazines added to loot. Perks no longer unlock recipes or govern crafting at all. The only schematics that still unlock recipes are mod attachments. Crafting skill is increased by finding and reading magazines. Skill increases unlock recipes at certain points, as well as increased quality of crafting for items with quality. Each tech level has a separate range in the skill spectrum, so that you have to work up through primitive tech and then iron tech and then steel tech. And being able to craft a blue stone axe no longer means you automatically can also craft a blue iron axe. Some skills have 100 levels, but others have less, depending on how many unlocks there are for recipes and quality tiers. A new skill page showing your progress has been added to the player interface. Skill magazines can be found, bought, and or received as quest reward. The topic of the magazine matches the location you would expect to find it in the world. Perks now govern the probability of finding like-themed magazines and parts for those recipes. Perk into shotguns, and you will notice more shotgun magazines and shotgun parts appearing in the world. When you max out a skill, while the probability bonus granted by perks for finding the corresponding magazine for that skill drops off. The magazine will still show up randomly in loot, but no longer have a boost. The probability boost for finding matching parts will remain. Now, for those of you out there who thinks this sounds kind of familiar, you would be right to think so. So let's take a little trip down memory lane and discuss the history of the crafting system in 7 Days to Die. As many of you may know, I am a console transplant. I actually started 7 Days to Die in the console version. And on console, the crafting system is kind of a learn by doing system. This means in order to increase your skill with an item, you actually have to use it. Do you want to get better at pistols? Go out and kill some zombie jerks with a pistol. You want to get better at mining? Go out and break some blocks with some mining tool. You want to get better at crafting items? You need to craft a bunch of items. It was as simple as that. However, one thing that's often forgotten about the console version is that reading books also increased your skill. So there was an element of learn by looting already present in the console version. However, for most players, what they would do is spend the first few nights just mass crafting items. You could mass craft stone axes over and over and over and over and over again and bump up that skill quickly. Unfortunately, the devs absolutely hated that players were doing this. They hated it so much that they completely revamped the crafting system in 7 Days to Die. In Alpha 17, they introduced what I call the learn by leveling system. And on the forums, they were not very nice to anybody who questioned the change. Threads about the topic were closed, and people were outright banned from the forums for merely asking why the change was made or offering any criticism about the change. Now, the learn by leveling system is what we're used to now. You go out, you kill zombie jerks, you mine resources, you build and upgrade structures, and do all the various things that you can do to gain experience. That experience will grant you levels, which give you skill points to put into perks. Putting points into those perks will increase your crafting skill, crafting level, and give you the ability to craft higher quality items. That's what we're used to right now. But it looks like Alpha 21, we are switching to the new learn by looting system. It's very similar to the console learn by doing system. However, instead of actually performing actions to increase your level, now you need to find and read magazines. Now, the new learn by looting system does pose some very interesting questions. And unfortunately, folks, I don't have the answers to these questions. First, how significant is the perk boost to finding preferred magazine? For instance, if you perk into shotguns, thereby boosting the probability of finding shotgun magazines, how significant is that boost? And also, how does this work in multiplayer? Many times in a multiplayer game, each player will specialize in a certain task. For instance, you might have a dedicated looter, somebody who it's their job to go out and loot items, whereas another player may be your dedicated builder, or another player may be your dedicated food person. It would seem that this new system makes that dynamic much more difficult. Since each player is perked into different items, your designated looter is going to be much less effective, meaning that the player who is primarily tasked to be your builder is going to have to go out and do their own looting. It does seem like this change is going to have a major impact on the multiplayer experience. And these are just a couple of questions that the new learn by looting system raises. There are many, many more. And again, unfortunately, I don't have the answers to these questions. Hopefully we will get some more information as we go down the road. So now that we've discussed the what of the new change, I think it is time to get into what I think is the more important part, the why. Why is this change being made? 7 Days to Die has been in alpha for 9 years and has been in development for 10 years. So why, at this point in development, are we getting a complete overhaul of one of the major systems and game mechanics? Previously, I released a video voicing my concerns about the state of 7 Days to Die. I provided a few basic examples of changes that were made to the game that seem to be made primarily to stop players from playing the game a certain way. Now, it's important to point out that in this video, the what really wasn't the issue. It's the why. Why were these changes made? And I have the same question for the new learn by looting system. Why is this change being made? If we go back to the first dev stream for Alpha 20, the devs said this.
Our goal, we want to go gold next year. So we want to go into gold next year. We're going to do our best.
They want to take 7 Days to Die gold by the end of the year. Now, at the time, I doubted that that was going to be possible. It seemed like a rather lofty goal, but now it's seemingly impossible. If they are making a complete overhaul to one of the major systems in Alpha 21, then I highly doubt that they are going gold by the end of the year. Once again, it's not so much the what, it's the why. So why are we still getting complete overhauls to major systems after 10 years of development? And my answer to that question is, I don't know. Now, there are currently some theories floating around on the internet, some speculation as it were, and I'm gonna go through a few of these, but again, I have to reiterate the fact that I just don't know why this is happening, but it is interesting to speculate as to what is going on. The first theory, and a rather cynical one in my opinion, is that the developers want to keep 7 Days in alpha for as long as possible. The reason for this being that every time they release a new alpha, in the run-up to the release, they can generate a lot of hype, a lot of new fans will take a look at the game, and they will receive a lot of new customers. The basic sentiment of this theory being that the fun pimps can keep milking this cash cow for as long as they can. Is this theory possible? I guess, but again, I think that's kind of a cynical view of the state of 7 Days to Die. The next theory is that 7 Days to Die has become somewhat of a passion project for the developer. It is often the case when dealing with creative endeavors that you can reach a point where it is very difficult to let go. The Fun Pimps have been working on 7 Days to Die for 10 years. That is a very long time. And when you work on a project for that long, it is possible for a little bit of fear to creep in. What happens when you finalize the project? What happens next? So instead of reaching that finalized state, you continue tweaking and changing your project because it can be very difficult to let it go and move on. Now, this is another interesting theory. Again, I'm not too sure about this one because the Fun Pimps have already announced that they have another game that's already in development. But it is still a rather interesting theory. And one more theory that's going around is that the devs just don't have a finalized vision of the game. They may have a general idea of what they'd like to see, but they do not have an absolute set in stone finalized vision of the game. Now, if we go back to the first dev stream for Alpha 20, you'll remember that the devs said this.
We have a vision for this game.
We have a vision for this game. Now, if that were true, at this point in development, the major game systems and mechanics should be set. If they have not been implemented yet, they should at least be mapped out. But with the new learn by looting system coming in Alpha 21, that doesn't seem to be the case. 7 Days to Die is still getting complete overhauls to major game systems and mechanics. This fact does lead some viability to this theory. But once again, I just don't know what the answer is. It's not the what, it's the why. Why are these changes being made? I just don't know, folks. But I would love to hear what you all think. So hop on down to the comments and let me know your thoughts on the upcoming changes to Alpha 21. And also let me know, why do you think these changes are being made? Do you think any of the theories that I've outlined ring true to you? I'd be very interested to hear what you all think. Now, if you're a fan of 7 Days to Die and just want to watch some good old-fashioned gameplay, you can check out my strength-only challenge for 7 Days to Die Alpha 20 by clicking the box in the top right corner of the screen. But for now, this is Savin saying thank you, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll catch you in the next one.